Welcome back. So today we are going to solve some easy questions on the quantitative section of the GMAT focus. So let's take the first question here. Let me just copy it, put it in my Word document so that I'm going to be writing and showing my reasoning. Okay, so here it says a certain boys camp. In a certain boys camp, 20% of the total boys are from school A and 30% of those study science. So the first information we have here is that the camp is made up of only boys, so we don't have girls. So it's only talking about boys. Okay, and we have 20% of the total boys, like 20% of the population of the camp. Okay, 30% are from school A. So that means 20% of total population is equal to A. So A here is like the number of, you know, boys from school A. Let me see. Of boys from school. No, let me say from school A. And 30% of the, yeah, so we have, it says 30% of those, so 30% of 20% T equal study science. Like, so here, so we have 30% of the students that study science. So if there are 49 boys in the camp that are from school A but do not study science, so 49 is equal to uh, 70% of A. Because it says 49 boys in the camp that are from school A do not study science. Why 70%? Because here we already know that 30% of those boys study science. So this will represent those who do not study science. Then what is the total number of boys? So the total number of boys, okay, I'll call it T, is equal to 20% of the students from school A and 80% from the rest. Okay, because here it says 20% of the total boys are from school A and 30% of those study science. So if this 49 represents 70% of A, we can find the 30%. Okay. We can also say like, or we can find the population of A. So this can lead us to say that A, 70 over 100, A is equal to 49. Then A is equal to 100 times 49 divided by 70. Have here 70. Okay, 70 is actually the number of boys from school A. And you will see that if we say 30% of 70, this will give us 21, which is the equivalent of the 30% of those that study science and are from school A. Okay, so we have this here, 70, which is now. And we know that here, 70 also represents 20% of the total population, of the total boys. So if 20% of the total is equal to 70, 20 over this, then we will need to find let me see. So if this is 20%, then we need to find the 80% here. Seventy is equal to 20%. So total is going to be 70 times 100 divided by 20, but like this will be 50. So it's actually going to be 50 times 7, which is equal to 350, and it will be this. So now when we come here, we said 350, so answer E. The next question. So let's come to the next question. So we have this. The profit P in dollars for any given month at a certain company is defined by P equal I minus C. So P is equal to I minus C, where I represents the total income. So this I is the total income in dollars, and C represents total costs in dollars as well. For each of the first 4 months of the year, C is equal to I plus 3200. So if we say first 4 months, it's going to give us P. The profit will be equal to, we have the value of C here. We replace C by this value, and we have the formula P is equal I minus C, so minus, and we're going to replace C by I plus 32,000. And it says 4 months. Okay, so all this will be multiplied by 4. So each month is going to have the same formula like this. So this is going to give us I minus I minus 32,000, and then multiplied by 4. And it's going to give us, so this will cancel. We will have 128,000 like this, minus 128,000. So for the first 4 months. For each of the next 3 months, I is equal to C plus 36,000. So we are going to do the same. We say next 3 months, we will use the formula. Here we have the value of I. So we are going to replace I by C plus 36,000 minus C. So C here minus C here are going to cancel. But here it says for the next 3 months. So we need to multiply the whole by 3. Okay. But inside the brackets here, C and C here is going to cancel. So we are going to be left with 36,000 multiplied by 3, which is going to give us 108,000. And then we have, if I is equal to C plus 10,000 for each of the 5 remaining months. So 5 remaining months will be P is equal. So we are going to do the same, replace the value of I by C plus 10,000 and then minus C here and the whole multiplied by 5 because it says 5 remaining months. So here C and C here is going to cancel like we did here. We will have 10,000 multiplied by 5, which is equal to 50,000. So now the question that they are asking is what is the company's total profit for the 12 months year? So the total profit, we are going to add these 3 values here that we have found. So the 12 months, okay? So we have 4 plus 3 plus 5 months, it's equal to 12 months. So we are going to have minus 100. So I'm going to call it total profit TP, like this, minus 128,000 plus 108,000 plus 50,000. So you know here, this is minus, this is plus. We are going to do the operation. This is greater than this. So the result of that operation will be negative, and we can see that it's going to be equal to 20,000. Okay, 128 minus 108,000 is equal to 20,000, and then plus 50,000 that we have here. And this we know for sure is going to be equal to 30,000. So that's why the answer is B for this question, 30,000. So now if we check that on the GMAT club, we say 30,000, answer B. That's the correct answer. Next question. So we have this question. Okay, let me just copy it. Bring it here. Okay, so here it says of the Z students at a certain college. So Z here is total number of students. Okay, X are studying French. X is number of students studying French. And Y is equal to number of students studying German. And then if W are studying both French and German, okay, so W is equal to number of students studying French and German. Okay, so here it simply means that we can use this diagram like this. So let me use different colors probably. So the first red here, this is representing, let's say, X. The black circle here is representing Y. And then in the middle here, let me change the color, use this color blue. And this middle here is like the intersection between X and Y is the W here. And then the question is telling us that we need to find, which of the following here expresses the number of students at the college not studying either French or German. So we will have maybe we will call it N, okay? Number of students not studying. So there is a formula here in order to determine the total number. So here the total number is Z, okay? We can go from that formula and then determine, the answer to our question. So like if the question was to find the total number of the students, Z here would have been equal to X, okay, the number of students studying French, okay. In X here, we can have students studying at least French, okay. So they can be students studying French and German at the same time, and students studying only French, okay. And then plus Y, the same thing. So students studying at least German minus, the intersection here, which is going to be W, made up of the students that are strictly studying both French and German. Okay. And then we're going to add the number of students not studying either French or German, because they are also part of the total number of students. Okay. So in our question here, we need to find N, and we need to express N in terms of X, Y, Z, and W. And we can write this equation. The same thing can be written as X plus Y minus W plus N is equal to Z. And we're going to move all this on the other side so that N will be equal to Z plus Z minus X minus Y plus W. Because here W is negative, so when it goes on the other side, it becomes positive. So now we need to compare this here with what we have here. So we have Z minus X minus Y plus W. Z plus W minus X minus Y. Okay, this it seems to be our answer. Well, let us just be sure by checking all the other options. This is not that because W is having a negative sign here. This as well is not the correct answer because we have a plus here, we have a minus here. This is not it because we have a Z with a minus, and this and that. No, this is not also our answer. So the answer seems to be answer A. So now let's come back to GMAT and confirm if that's the correct answer or not. So we said answer A, which is the correct answer. Okay, so let's take the next question. So that's question number 4. Let's erase this. So here the question says, which of the following sets has the standard deviation greater than the standard deviation of set X? I think here we might not even need to use the formula for the standard deviation, because when we look at this, we have a pattern here. Okay, it seems like this 19 and 17 here seems like we are adding -2. Okay, like if you add -2, +2, sorry, here you'll find 7 -17. The same thing if you add +2 here, you find -15. Okay, here as well. This is also going to be yeah, -13 +2 -11. Yeah, and we also have the same pattern for the answer choices here. Here also, it seems like we are adding +2 here, +2, +2, +2. Okay, the same here, +2, +2. Here as well. Here we are actually adding -2, -2, minus, -2, -2. Okay, so like here we know that all these sets can be obtained by adding some constant, so which is giving us like this particular pattern. It all means that all these sets here will have the same standard deviation, okay, which is going to be constant. So the answer to the question will be answer E, because the question is, which of the following sets has the standard deviation greater than the standard deviation of set X? Since they are having like same pattern, let's say like this, that means that none of these three here will be greater than this one. None of these standard deviation will be greater than, the standard deviation of set X. So the answer is answer E. Let's go to GMAT Club and confirm this. So I said answer E. That's it. Question number 5. So, next question now, which is question number 5. It says a bicycle store purchased 2 bicycles, one for 20, $250. So we are going to call this cost 1, which is equal to $250. And the other for $375, we're going to call it cost 2, $375. And sold both bicycles at a total gross profit of 250. Okay, so we have gross profit that I'm going to call GP is actually equal to profit 1 plus profit 2. Okay, like this one. And this is equal to $250. And it says if the store sold one of the bicycles for 450, which of the following could be the store's gross profit from the sale of the other bicycles? So we have P1 plus P2 is equal to 250. And this value here, we don't know if it is for the sale of the first bicycle or for the second bicycle. So we are going to try to find out. If we want to find out the profit for the first bicycle, then P1 is going to be equal to 250 minus P2. If we want to find P2, however, it's going to be 200 minus P1. 250 minus P1. Okay? So we are going to try to find a value. So since we don't know exactly what is this value for, we will try to add some values and see which one will match the answer choices that we have here. So P1 can actually be equal to 250 minus. So we know that the formula to find a profit is actually equal to revenue minus cost. All right. So that's the formula that we already know. So P2 here, if we suppose that 450 here is the value of P2, then we are going to have revenue 450 minus cost 2, okay, which is 375. All right. If we say that this is the revenue for the sale of bicycle 1, Then P2 will be equal to 250 minus, so revenue will be this 450 minus cost one, 250. Okay, so this here will be 250. So this is going to give us how much? 75. So minus 75. Okay, and this is going to give us 250 minus 200. Okay, so this will be 50, and this will be 175. So we have two values. So the question is, which of the following could be the store's gross profit? If we say 50, but in our answer choices, we don't have 50 here. We don't have $50. If we take 175, we have the answer choice, yeah. So that's definitely our answer, the answer to the question. So answer E is the answer to the question. That if you come here, then you see that you have the answer to the question. Let's take next question. Next question will be this question. So it gives us this equation, and it says which of the following is true. So we need to find this answer. So what we can do, if we try to solve each equation here, each fraction here, we are going to waste a lot of time. But we can just have a look at the first, maybe the first four here. So this one is 1, and we know that 1 over 2 to the power 2 here is 1 over 4, and 1 over 4 is actually equal to 0.25, like this. Let me just, so 0.25. This 1 over 3 to the power 2 is equal to 1 over 9. So 1 divided by 9 here. So we have so we are going to have something like 0. Let me see. I'm writing the comma here. 0.111, something like that. And then the next one we can take will be 1 over 4 to the power 2. It's 4 to the power 2 is 16, so it's actually 1 over 16. And this will give us this. And here it's going to be 6, 6, 9, 4, 0, 0, and 40, and 6, and 36, and 4 again, and 6. So this is going to give us 0.0666. So what we can find, so we may not even need to, divide the remaining portion of the fraction, but we can already find a pattern here, which is to say the more we increase the denominator here, the more the result of the fraction is really far from 1. Okay, so here, so we have gone from 1, 0.25, 0.111, 0.0. Okay, so if you add this here and the remaining ones here, so it's not sure that the remaining ones here are going to be equal to 1. So they are going to be less than 1 and even less than this one. So if it is less than 666, so it's not going to be close to 1. So like if we add this, it's going to give us something like 1.36, at most 1.4, something like that. And this one is also going to be far from 1. So definitely this will be our answer. So the value of S here is going to be less than 2. So this is less than 2, and this is less than 1. So yeah, the answer is answer E. Answer E. So E was the answer. Next question. Let's take the next question. Let me do this. Reduce. Okay. So we have this here. If A is equal to square root of 2 minus 1 and B is equal to 1, which of the following is equal to this equation that we have here? Okay, so what we can do is to actually, we can do something here. Let's say A square plus, we will multiply B here, sorry. So B square plus 2AB plus B square plus A square plus 2AB. So we have 2A square, okay, and here B square, we have 2B square, and then we have here plus 4AP. This can be equal to 2 factor of A square plus 2AB plus b squared. Okay, we've just factored to here. And this is actually a plus b factor of a plus b. Okay, and then once we have this form here, we can just replace the value of a and value of b. So a is square root of 2 minus 1, and b is 1, so plus 1 here. And then we will have the same thing, square root of 2 minus 1 plus b, which is 1. So we will have square root of 2, 1 minus 1 plus 1 is 0, okay? And then the same thing here, square root of 2 minus 1 plus 1 is 0. So this will be 2 to the power, 2 multiplied by square root of 2 multiplied by square root of 2 is equal to 2. Okay, so this is basically equal to, square root of 2 squared. It's going to give us 2 here. So 4. So the answer to the question is 4. So answer B is the answer. Let's come here, say 4, which is B. So next question. Let's take the next question, which is this. Okay. If 5x is equal to 6y and y is different from 0, okay? That means that either neither x nor y is equal to 0, okay? So we have this ratio. So this ratio here simply means that we have 1, 5x. Okay, so this is 1, 5x, and this is 1, 6y, like this. And it's saying what is the ratio of this value to this value. So if we need to translate that, interpret that into a formula, so they are simply saying that the ratio of 1 like this, 1x over 5 to 1y over 6. Yeah, so that's basically what it means. So here what we can do is that, so this can be written x over 5, y over 6 is equal to x over 5 multiplied by 6 over y. Okay, so we can change the value of x. So this we have 5x equals 6y. So x is actually equal to 6y over 5. So if we change it here, so now this will be equal to 6y over 5 multiplied by 6 over y. So we are going to have 6y over 25. No, so let me explain. So this expression can be written 6y over 5 times 1 over 5. And then we have this expression times 6 over y. So this here will be 6y times 1 over 5 times 5, which is 25 times 6y. So the y's here are going to cancel, and we have 6 times 6, which is 36 over 25. So it's 36 over 25, which is this. Answer B. So let's come here. Answer B is the correct answer. Let's move on to question number 9. So we have this. Let me copy that. Come back here. Erase this. And so we have this equation. So what is the value of 2x squared minus 2.4x minus 1.7? For x is equal to 0.7. So we can say that this is equal to 2x. We're going to try to simplify that, minus 1.2. Okay, or if we want to do it step by step, this is actually equal to 2x times x minus 2 times 1.2 times x, like this, minus 1.7. So we can take 2 and x here, 2 and x here to factor them. So 2x, we will have x here, we will have the minus 1.2 here, minus 1.7. One other thing that we can do, so we will do, we can now replace 0.7, okay? So we have 2 factor of 0.7 and 0.7 minus 1.2 minus 1.7. 0.7 times 2 is actually 1.4 factor of minus. This is going to give 0.5. Okay, so if you say 1.2 minus like this, so 12 minus 7 is 5. You bring 1 here, you have 0.5. And since 1.2 is greater than 0.7, that's why we have in the minus sign here, and minus 1.7. Okay, and if we want to multiply this, we can also write 1.4 is actually equal to 14 times 10 to the power minus 1. And here is also minus 5 times 10 to the power minus 1 minus 1.7. Now we can multiply. 14 times minus 5 is actually going to give us 0 minus 70 times 10 to the power minus 2. Okay, 10 to the power minus 1 times 10 to the power minus 1 is 10 to the power minus 2. And here, if you want to render this into 10 to a power minus 2 kind of expression, we can write that as being equal to 180 times 10 to the power minus 2. And what we can do is take 10 to the power minus 2 here into factor like this, and then we will have minus 70 minus 170. So 10 to the power minus 2 times this is going to give us minus 240. So now multiply 10 to the power minus 2 by minus 240. This can also be written like this. Okay, so this will give us minus 2.40. Okay, so since here is 10 to the power minus 2, so you need to move the decimal point 2 positions. So 1 and 2. So this is why it is giving us 2.40. So the answer is minus 2.40. All right. So answer D is the answer. Take question number 10. Let's take this. So, next question. A certain manufacturer of cake, muffin, and bread mixes has 100 buyers, of whom 50 purchase cake mix, 40 purchase muffin mix, and 20 purchase both cake mix and muffin mix. If a buyer is to be selected at random from the 100 buyers, what is the probability that the buyer selected will be one who purchases neither cake mix nor muffin mix? So we have 100 buyers. Uh, so we have like this. Change this. And then we have here. Okay. So this, we're going to call it X, which is equal to 50, and corresponding to 50 buyers purchasing cake mix. So this is like this. And then we will have 20, which is going to be called 20 equal to 20, and buyers purchasing also this is going to be equal to buyers that are purchasing both cake mix and muffins. So it's going to be here, call it N, which is equal to 20. And here we're going to have 40 buyers that we call Y purchasing muffin mix. Then we can use our formula. We can say N, which is equal to 100 buyers, is actually equal to X plus Y minus N, okay, plus the number of buyers who are purchasing neither cake nor muffin mix. And this, I can call it big X like this. Okay. So now big X will be equal to 100 minus X minus Y plus N. So 100X is 50. This Y is 40 plus N. N is 20. So x, if we do the right calculation, x is actually equal to 30. So 30 here is the number of buyers purchasing neither cake mix nor muffin mix. So it's basically this one, right? So let me change the color here. Yeah. So since we have the number of those purchasing neither cake mix nor muffins, then we can find the probability. Okay. So here we're going to call it probability of x. It's actually going to be equal to the number, of those purchasing neither cake nor muffins, 30, over n. N, which is the total number of buyers, which is 100. So this is going to be 3 over 10. So the answer is answer B. The probability that the buyer selected will be one who purchases neither cake mix nor muffin mix. So 3 over 10. Let's come back to our GMAT question and check the answer. Answer B. So that was question number 10. Let's go to question number 11. Okay, so copy this question. Come back to my Word document. So we have the question. If water is leaking from a certain tank at a constant rate of 1,200 milliliters per hour, how many seconds does it take for 1 milliliter of water to leak from the tank? How many seconds for 1 milliliter? Okay, so this we can use the rule of three, which is to say that so it is leaking at a constant rate of 1. If so, we have 1,200 milliliter leaking per hour gives us 1 hour. 1 hour, which is equal to 360 seconds, because the question is asking us how many seconds, okay? And it's asked how many seconds does it take for 1 milliliter. So now we will say 1 milliliter is going to give us X. So we're going to find the value in seconds. And now we will say X. So X is going to be equal to this. We're going to multiply 1 milliliter by 360 seconds. And like this, since this is going to be multiplied by X, it's going to come down here. Okay, 1200 milliliter. So we are looking for the seconds. So this will cancel. The only unit remaining will be the seconds. Okay. How many seconds? So now this equation will be equal to 360 over 3060 over 1200. 3600 over 1200. And this is actually equal to, so 36 actually is equal to 3 times 12. And here we have 12. So we are going to cancel. So this is going to be equal to 3 seconds. So we will basically need 3 seconds to leak 1 milliliter. Okay. So the answer is answer D. Come here, answer B is our answer. Let's take the next question. So we have this question. Just copy this. Okay, so this tells us for all numbers A, B, C, D is defined by the equation, okay, like this. So it's basically multiply this minus the multiplication, the product of, yeah. So the product of A and D minus the product of C and E. So all we have to do here is to use that same formula. So this first here, well, is going to give us 3s minus 1t or t. And then we have the minus sign here, minus in the brackets. So this and this is going to give us minus 4t, and this is going to give us, so we have minus 2s. Okay, and then we have the plus sign here, so plus 2s minus 2t. And then, so we have 3s minus t plus 4t, okay? Minus times minus 4t, minus times minus 2s plus 2s plus 2s minus 2t. So if we regroup s, so we have 2s plus 2s is 4s, plus 3s here is 7s. Okay, so we've used these ones, and we will remain with the t. T is here, so minus t minus 2t is minus 3t plus 4t will be equal to t. Okay, so 4t is actually greater than 3t. So 4t minus 3t is t. So now we have this answer, and we are going to check whether any of the answer choices here is equal to this. So this, not sure, that's not it. This will give us, if we apply this formula here, definition, 5s minus t. Okay, that's not, here we have 7s. Here will give us s minus 7t. No, so not the answer, not the answer. Here we have 7s minus 5t, so not the answer because we have the 5t here. Here we don't have 5t, we only have t. This we have 5s minus t, so not the answer too. Because we have 5, yes, 5s. And this will be 7s. We have the minus here, minus, and we multiply 1 and minus 2, minus t, sorry. So 1 to minus t. This will be 7s plus t. So that's our answer. This is not the answer. So our answer is answer T, answer E. So let's come back. The answer is answer E. Next question will take us to this. So that's our next question. Candidate A, B, and C are contesting elections. Each voters can only vote for a single candidate, and 20% of the voters, okay, refrained from voting. So we have 20% refrained from voting. Okay. And candidates A, B, and C received votes in the ratio 4-3-1. So we have the ratio 4:3:1. So this actually means that for 4 votes of candidate A, we have 3 votes for candidate B and 1 vote for candidate C. So this can also mean that here we have 4x, 3x, 1x. Okay, so for 4 votes, like x here is going to be equal to the number of votes. So for 4 times the number of votes for A will give 3, the relationship between votes of A and B and C is that for 4 votes of A, we will have 3 votes of B and 1 vote for C, respectively. So, and here is also a very important sentence. If there were no invalid votes, so no votes was invalid, all the votes were valid. So all the votes have to be taken into consideration. And candidate C got 2 million votes. Then how many voters refrained from voting? So we need to find, yeah, the voters that refrained from voting, they represent 20% of the total number of, the people that were supposed to vote. So in the number of people that were supposed to vote, we have 20% that refrained plus 80% actually voted. Okay, and this is total number registered. So we call them total number of registered voters. Okay, so we have people that were registered. Out of those people, 20% did not go to vote and 80% voted. And in the 80% that voted, we have 2 million votes for candidate C. And remember here, we said for 4 votes for candidate A, we have 3 votes for candidate B and 1 vote for candidate C. So we can also shift that backwards. That means that if we have 2 million, like if candidate C received 2 million votes, that means that this 2 million is actually equal to 1x. Okay? Then x is 2 million. That means that we can find the number of votes that candidate B and A received. So then candidate B received candidate B received the 3x, so which is equal to 3 times 2 million. which is 6 million. And candidate A received 4x, which is 4 times 2 million, which is 8 million. So now we have the total number of people that actually voted, okay, that went to vote for either of the candidates, which is equal to 2 million plus 6 million plus 8 million, no, actually voted, which is going to give us 16 million. So 16 million people voted. And we know that here we said, so this 15 million is actually representing 80% of the registered of the voters that were actually registered. And now, if we have this, we can then find the 20% who refrained. Okay, so we can simply say, so if 16 million is equal to 80%, okay, 80% of those who, no, we can use the rule of three, okay, to make it simple. 16 million is 80%. Then, so because we are looking for how many in millions, okay, how much is 20%? So x will be equal to 16 million times 80 times 20% divided by 80%. The percentages can be cancelled, and here we will have so 16 is actually 8 times 2 times 2 times 10, and 80 is 8 times 10. So this will be cancelled. This will be cancelled as well. So we will remain with 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. Okay, so the answer will be this. Answer D. Next question. We have this question. So let me erase. Okay, so we have this 3K28M3. The arithmetic mean of the list of numbers above is 4. Okay, so that means if we take this, how can we interpret that? It means that we have 2 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3 plus k plus m divided by 6. Okay, because we have 6 elements here, is equal to 4. Okay, so this is 16. So 16 plus k plus m is equal to 24, and k plus m is equal to 24 minus 16. K plus m is equal to 8. And remember, it says k and m are integers, and k is different from m. What is the median? So in order to find the median, first of all, we have to rearrange, these elements here from the least to the highest, from the lowest to the highest. So we have 2, which is the lowest of the numbers that we know. We have 3, we have another 3, and then we have 8. So now what we don't know here is k and m. But what we know is that k and m is equal to 8, and they are integers. Okay? So we are going to take some examples. If, since it's equal to this, if k is 0, then m is 8. So if m is equal to 8, then we will have this list: 2, 3, 3, 8, 8, and 0 here for k. And as you can see, the median is going to be between 3 and 3 here. And it's going to be 3 because 3 plus 3 divided by 2 is going to give 6 divided by 2, which is 3. If we say k is equal to 1, then m will be equal to 7, because 1 plus 7 will be equal to 8. Then this will give us 1, 2, 3, 3. So the 1 here is the value of k, the 2, 3, 3, and then 7 and 8. So we will still have 3 here as the median. If we say k is 2, m is equal to 6, then we'll have 2, 2, 3, 3, 6, 8. So we will still have the median 3. If we have k is equal to 3, m is equal to 5, then we will have 2, 3, 3, and 3, which is the value of k here, 5, 8. So the median will still be 3. But we can't have k equal 4 and m equal 4, because it says k is different from m. So this is not possible. Okay? So what else can we have? And also if we have like negative integers, this, for example, minus 2 plus 10. K is minus 2 and m is 10. is 10, for example. So you have minus 2, 2, 3, 3, 8, and 10. So we still have 3 here as the median. Even with k being equal to minus 1 and m equal to 9. So we have minus 1, 2, 3, 3, 8, 9. And also note that we have done it for k, but if we had to inverse, like instead of this being k, we put it as being m, and this, instead of it being m, we put it as being k, we will still have the same result. So the median will always be equal to 3. Okay, the median of the list, if k plus m is equal to 8 and k is different from m, the median will always be equal to 3. So the answer is answer C. So if you come here, answer C is that one answer. All right, so let's take the last question. And the last question here says, let me just copy that first. So we have this question. It says, there are 5 cars to be displayed in 5 parking spaces with all the cars facing the same direction. Of the 5 cars, 3 are red, 1 is blue, and 1 is yellow. If the cars are identical, so identical except for color, here is a very important sentence to note. How many different display arrangements of the cars are possible? So if the cars were not identical, okay, this will be straightforward. Let me say, if cars were not identical, this, since we have 5 cars and we are looking for the number of display arrangement of the 5 cars, uh, so number of arrangements would have been 5 factorial. Okay, so the number of cars. So 5 factorial, which is equal to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. But since it says that the cars are identical except for the color, okay, so that means that the differentiation here is being made on the color. So cars of the same colors are going to be considered as, being the same car. basically. So that means that the number of arrangement, so let me say, since cars are identical, then number of arrangements will be equal to 5 factorial divided by the number of cars that are identical, 3. So we have 3 that are red, so they will be considered as being identical, and then we have 1 blue and 1 yellow. So this will give us 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 divided by 3 times 2 times 1. So this will cancel, this will cancel, 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 and we will have, in the end, 5 times 4, which is equal to 20. And 20 is this. Answer A. So that's how you find the answer to this question. That was the last question. So we said answer A, which is the answer.